welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news show and update show. We will discuss elements of Sunday's game versus Leicester in today's show and the progress we saw, but we're going to get right into the news. Manchester United have big sales planned. They're already planning their future. God, throat's gone. Let me have a drink. Sorry about that. They're already planning their future and their transfer window as if certain players will go, and they're already sort of assuming that certain players will leave and allowing them into sort of the transfer funds to plan for this summer. We'll talk about sort of players we're looking at, players that we expect to leave. We'll talk about Mainoo contract. One report says he'll go, another report says he's close to signing a new contract. We'll talk about that. I reckon there's a lot of agent talk involved in that Mainoo contract situation to try and get Mainoo the best deal. A new plan for Diallo has been revealed that's kind of surprising. Onana, Manchester United feel like they found an Onana replacement. Onana could go, but we need Onana to leave. Will Onana leave? Eriksen talks on future. Hojlund exit. Ostenham links. Dibling interest and more. So there's quite a few interesting topics to talk about in today's show. So if you do enjoy today's show, feel free to hit that like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new. I want to get right into the first couple of stories, but of course let me know how you're feeling about Manchester United. We go into the international break off the back of a win and we're still in the Europa League, so there's at least we've got something to live for this season. And we got to see Liverpool bottle a cup final and go out the Champions League, so things have looked up in recent weeks, but still can get a lot better. But let's hope that we have no injuries in the international break, and let's hope that we get some key players back and we can go and smash Lyon in the quarterfinals of the Europa League as well. So Florian Plettenberg said this earlier. Manchester United are confident that they'll be able to invest in top transfers this summer with the possible and planned departures of Lindelof, Casemiro, Eriksen and Mainoo. The sales of Rashford and Antony will also provide the club with more flexibility. The Lindelof has gone on a free and Eriksen's gone on a free, and that will save Man United over £10 million with them going on a free. Boom. Casemiro, Manchester United hoping to sell for 15 million, and then that would also allow us 18 million wages saved, which could be 33 million. Kobbie Mainoo is pure profit, and there's a 70 million price tag on Kobbie Mainoo. Now, I do think a lot of the talk and rumours about Kobbie Mainoo leaving Manchester United is purely agent spin, because Kobbie hasn't signed a new contract, and maybe his agent's trying to link him with a move elsewhere to scare Manchester United into giving him the best possible contract. It was also said the sales of Rashford and Antony will also provide the club more flexibility as well. We know that Antony, Man United want 30 million for. Rashford, we want 40 million for. That's 70 million combined. Rashford is pure profit. Manchester United believe, and there's some other reports on this, that essentially from selling these players, it should give us the funds to actually invest in the summer in some sort of decent signings as well. Let me just one sec. Bear with me one sec, guys. I just need to. Sorry, I could barely see my screen, so I've just made the room a bit brighter there. Oh God, we've got some weirdos in the chat today. All right, you're getting blocked. Why? All right, let's continue on into the news. So what's been said? Manchester United are confident they'll be able to invest in top transfers this summer with the possible planned departures of Lindelof, Casemiro, Eriksen, and Mainoo. Someone said in the comments, "Spin, spin, spin." Manchester United not in the best period. March international break. Journalists need something to write about because it's very dead when it comes to club football. Yeah, we're going to get a lot of these stories. I'm going to tell you this now. It's the March international break. It is the most uninteresting time of the year, although it's more interesting with Thomas Tuchel and stuff. So there's going to be stories that are going to be spun. There's definitely going to be a lot of, we're interested in signing this player, we're interested in signing that player, because journalists need clicks and they've got nothing to write about, so they will start making things up. But Florian Plettenberg does have sources of information. He's obviously been told by someone this, so it could be in the line of spin. But we know that Lindelof's gone, we know that Eriksen's gone, we know that we want to sell Casemiro, we know that Rashford and Antony should go, and that will give us funds. And then if all of those players go and you let go of one of Mainoo or Garnacho, because one of Mainoo or Garnacho could go, you know, INEOS have said it's a possibility, then you're looking at actually United do have a fair amount of funds to spend. You know, you get 70 million or 60 million for Garnacho, pure profit. You know, Rashford's 40 million pure profit. That's 100 million pure profit. Antony, you stop making a loss on there. That's 130 million. Eriksen and Lindelof makes 140 million with the wages saved. And Casemiro with the fee and the wages saved. You're looking at 150 plus million from that. So there's definitely an ability to raise money this summer, and there's definitely an ability to sell players. It's just that I think what we do this summer is massively dependent on who we sell and how well we sell, pretty much. The funds from the wages saved have to take into account the new wage signings new wages signings will get, so not as much as often estimated, which is true. But I think INEOS are trying to lower the wage bill, get everyone at under 150k a week, and get rid of the 300k a week people as well. Onana replacement is needed, but it will be very difficult to move on. We will talk about Onana replacement because United have identified Onana replacements, and they've identified people to replace Onana with, but they need to move on Onana to fully replace him. British says that we should sell Garnacho, Onana, Lindelof, Sancho, Antony, Malacia. We should keep Rashford, Hojlund, Mainoo. Rashford will go because of the whole Amarin situation. Hojlund, they don't want to plan him permanently, but he could go on loan. I think Mainoo will stay. Interestingly, yeah, I forgot about Sancho. We should get 30 million for Sancho, 25, 30 million for Sancho. But I don't think Mainoo's going anywhere. I think a lot of the reports that Mainoo is set to leave Manchester United is agent talk. He's not signing a new contract. It's international break. People need something to write about. People are going to make things up. And I think Mainoo wants a new contract, so his agent's going to spin some stuff. I don't think there's much actually in Mainoo leaving United. And interestingly, Dylan McBennett said this. He said Mainoo will not leave Manchester United this summer, despite reports saying otherwise. There's a lot of rumours, there's a lot of reports that Mainoo could leave Manchester United, but Dylan McBennett and some decent sources of information are saying it's more likely that Mainoo's going to sign a new contract. It's just part of the process of signing a new contract. Mainoo trying to get the best deal. He will be at Manchester United, is what a lot of people believe. And I believe that Mainoo will be at Man United next season. I think it's a lot of them. I think it's media trying to make a story out of nothing because he's not signed a new contract to try and get some drama or just something to write about as well. Could the system, since Onana's been here, but could be the system, but since Onana's been here, his ball playing has not been great. Yeah, the thing that frustrates me with Onana is we brought him in because he's better on the ball than De Gea, and then he's just been just as bad. His ball, he kicks it out and away so much. What frustrates me most about Onana isn't him kicking it away. It's when he makes a save, he pushes the ball back into their striker, and their striker can score. That's what annoys me. We shouldn't have sold Kovar, we shouldn't have sold Henderson, people are saying. I do look at it and I think, like, I thought Onana was really good for like 6-7 months at United, I can't lie. I thought in 2024, until Ruben Amorim came in, Onana was really good second half of the season, first half of this season. I thought Onana was really, really good in 2024, but then he's gone back to Onana in his first couple of months at United, where he's been pretty crap again, hasn't he? Which is frustrating, but I think, yeah, I look at it and I think probably could have done with Dean Henderson over Onana, especially when you think that we spent 50 million on Onana and sold Dean Henderson for 20. That definitely could have saved us some money. Like, I don't think Onana's awful, but he's just not convincing, especially for how much he's cost us. He's not convincing. But I want to get into the next story. So the first two stories talk about Man United confident they're going to be able to invest big because Lindelof's going to go, Eriksen's going to go. They think they're going to sell Casemiro, Rashford, Antony, potentially Mainoo, Sancho should go. And that will give United funds to invest in the summer. And Manchester United are looking at a centre-back in the summer. They're looking at another midfielder in the summer that can play deeper. They're looking at a 10. They're looking at a striker. Now, we've always believed we were looking at a right wing back with the Kender links. Some sources say we would like a wing back, but it's not a priority, which links us to this story, which is from Team Talk, saying this. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim plans to use Amad Diallo as a wing-back next season, with the report revealing whether or not the Red Devils will try and sign an alternative to Kender. Now, this has been said by Team Talk, and I don't think Team Talk is the best or most reliable or most amazing source of information. I will tell you that. So do take it with a pinch of salt. But if we don't sign a right wing-back, this wouldn't surprise me if it's the plan. Joshua Zirkzee set to stay. If Garnacho stays, that's Joshua Zirkzee and Garnacho that can play right 10, Mount and the new left 10 signing that can play left 10. So Amad Diallo could go to right wing back. Now, Amad Diallo is better as a 10, but Amad Diallo is also our best right wing back because he brings that forward oomph to him. Is that the word? He just brings it forward. He's better going forward. I like the idea of Amad at wing back, but I prefer the idea of Amad at a 10 more because Amad is our best attacking player in terms of qualities. You want him further up the pitch. I wouldn't be shocked now that we missed out on Kender and the priorities are a 10, a striker, a pivot player, and a centre-back that Amad could be pushed to right wing-back, because if we sign another player to play in the pivot with Agate, Bruno can play right 10. Garnacho, if he stays, can play right 10. Zirkzee's proven he's a 10. Mount's a left 10. We'll probably sign a new left 10. So that means there's a lot of players that can play 10 and not many that can play wing-back. and Amad could be pushed to wing back. So I'm not totally shocked by that, but we have been linked to Roger Fernandes. We've got people like Man Utd in the academy. I'd like to see a right wing back come in. I have no issue with Amad playing right wing back here and there, but I think his qualities I'd like to see him mostly at 10. For me, you sign a top striker, you have Amad at right 10, you have Xerxes at left 10. That's a good front three. You could have an explosive new signing at left 10, a new striker, and Amad at right 10. And, obviously I know Garnacho's doing better at right 10. I know Xerxes can play right 10, Bruno can play right 10. If Bruno's not in the pivot and we sign a pivot player and we've got options, whereas at right wing back it is Diallo and Masraoui, and Masraoui probably does better at right centre back. Diallo's been hit and miss. But I would personally rather see Amad as a 10, but I can see some truth in this. We know from Romano the 4 priorities are centre-back, pivot player, 10 and striker, which would then narrow it down to Amad's possibility of being a right wing-back being higher, looking at our priority signings. Danny B says that Amad's best position is right wing-back. I don't think it's his best position, but I think he does it the best. So we look better when he's right wing-back because we've got a wing-back progressing the ball, but I think his best position is 10. A lot of people saying he's not a 10, he's a winger / wing back. I just prefer him at a 10. I think he's much better higher up the pitch, to be honest. But I think he can play both. I think Amad is our best right wing back and our best right 10. I think he's just an unbelievable player. Mainoo also can play 10. Yeah, Mainoo is one option for left 10. Mainoo, Amad, Fernandes, best Man United players. You could throw De Ligt in there at the moment. I think De Ligt's been very good lately as well. If Amad's going to be our wing back, that means no Frimpong, and we'll go for a player like Fernandes, who's cheaper. What do you think? Frimpong for £30 million is a really good deal, and I think it'd be really good business from United. Guys, if you weren't aware, Fabrizio Romano actually linked Manchester United not linked to Manchester United, but confirmed that Jeremy Frimpong is available in the summer. Got a release clause, which I think is around £30 to £35 million, which isn't bad. I think Frimpong would be brilliant for the system. I'd have to watch more of Roger Fernandes, but he looks like an exciting talent. But I'd like us to sign a right wing back. A lot of people saying they prefer Amad at wing back than 10 in the chat. Let me know in the chat, do you prefer Amad at wing back or 10? Because a lot of you are saying you prefer him at wing back. It's a good comment here from Alex. Let me read this out. He says, De Ligt has been underrated this season. He seems to be underappreciated wherever he's been since Ajax. Yeah, I feel like because he's not lived up to quite the wonder kid potential, but he's still a good player. Like, the way I described De Ligt is he was meant to be like the next Van Dijk, and he's not the next Van Dijk or the next Vidic or the next Rio. But he's a very good player, but he's just not, like, I think when at Ajax, everyone thought he was going to be the best centre-back ever, and he's not, but he's a very good centre-back, and he gets in most Premier League sides. I think De Ligt has been underappreciated. I think especially these last 2 months, as he's sort of learned how to play the back three, he's been absolutely solid. Amran prefers Amad 10, wing-back 10. Mixed thoughts about whether they prefer Amad at wing-back or 10. AJ says this. Has more space at wing-back, looked ineffective at 10 versus Southampton, switched to wing-back and was balling. But I also think that's just because we are up the intensity versus Southampton. I think I like Amad in both positions because I just like Amad on the pitch. I'd rather him at 10, but I don't mind him dropping to wing-back. I think in games like a Southampton, a Leicester and an Ipswich, I'd want Amad at right wing-back when we're going to be super attacking. But in games like a Manchester City or an Arsenal, I'd probably want him at right 10. If that makes sense. Guys, let me know your thoughts on Roger Fernandes down below. But Frimpong and Roger Fernandes are the 2 right wing-backs we've been linked to since missing out on Kenda. Bentito Mantato's also come back from injury in the academy and absolutely balling up, so could be one to watch. But let's talk about Onana. So my official thoughts on Onana is I don't think he's going anywhere this summer, despite information I've got, despite information that's been reported. It's been reported over the last month about INEOS not rating Onana, and it's been reported from good sources and bad sources that INEOS don't rate Onana, but it's come from good sources. It's come from lots of credible bits of information that Onana could go. United are looking at goalkeepers, this and that. I got information on Onana recently that I've verified. There's also more information coming out on Onana, but from the information I know on Onana, I don't think he's going anywhere this summer. I think United have found a replacement for Onana. United know who they'd like to replace Onana with, but we'd have to sell Onana, and I don't think we're going to be able to sell Onana, and I don't think he's going to leave. So, Give Me Sports said this. Manchester United have identified highly rated Lille keeper Lucas Chevalier as a €40 million replacement for Onana, which is true. I got told, and I verified this with somebody else, that those inside Manchester United are not fully convinced by Andre Onana and have already identified 3 potential replacements ahead of the summer. This list includes Lille's Lucas Chevalier, Burnley's James Trafford, and Rayo Vallecano's John Garcia. Now, out of those names, I like Garcia the most. A decision on Onana's future will depend on whether United can find a buyer, but the club is clearly preparing for a possible change in goal, having found replacements. So United have looked at Onana and said, we're not convinced by him. We're not convinced that he's fully good enough. We've got replacements lined up. For Onana to go, Onana has to say, I want to leave United, and someone has to come in and give us 30 million for Onana. Man United won't sell Onana for any less than 25 million because they will make a loss on him. They want 30 million for him. I don't know if there's a club out there that will pay 30 million for Onana, and if they do, I don't think Onana wants to leave United. I think Onana's made it clear he doesn't want to leave United. So I think Onana will stay at Manchester United until 2026. I think we like Garcia. We like the little keeper. I don't think James Trafford is ready yet, but I think he's a good player. I think summer 26 we'll get a goalkeeper. I think this summer we sign a striker, we sign a 10, we sign another midfielder, we sign another centre-back. Depending on sales, we might sign a right wing-back or another attacking player or another defensive player. I think there's 5 signings this summer. I think that's what Man United will do, and I don't think any of them will be a goalkeeper. I think we'll have to wait till next summer and hope that the players that we like this summer are available next summer, because we have to get 30 million on Onana to avoid making a loss. We have to get 30 million for Antony to avoid making a loss. 34 million for Mount to avoid making a loss. I don't think Mount's going anywhere. I don't think Onana's going anywhere. I don't think Hojlund's going anywhere. Even though when Berrada's got this rule, 2 seasons to prove yourself and you're out, these players were signed before Berrada came in, and they were signed for such extortionate fees and such weird ways to pay the fee that it makes it really difficult for Manchester United to sell them. MFO says, I don't think Onana's that bad. I agree. I don't think Onana's that bad, but I don't think he's good enough to win the Premier League with. The way I look at it is, I don't mind if we don't sign a new keeper in the summer. For me, right wing back, centre back, DM, 10 and striker is more of a priority than goalkeeper in the summer. I think we need a new goalkeeper within the next 2 seasons, but I don't think Onana is awful. I think he has good periods, bad periods. I think the way to describe Onana would be unreliable. I think sometimes he can be really good, sometimes he can be really solid, but he has a mistake in him. That's the way I'd describe Onana. I think we can get through next season with Onana and goal, whereas I know that we can't get through next season without proper wing-backs, without a proper striker. I think we can get through next season with Onana and goal. I don't think Onana is as bad as people make out, but he wasn't a 50 million keeper. Mr. Miracle says, I think it would be great to buy a new keeper while Onana is still here. It gives us time to integrate them, which is fair, but 2 good keepers at once with Henderson and De Gea didn't work well. Alice, how do Shaw and Mount just remain injured with zero communication? What's the problem? There is a bit of communication, but I think United like to try and hide what the injury issues are, so oppositions know not to target that area. Like if they know that Mount's got problems with his knee, they might target his knee in a match, for example. But Luke Shaw is Mount is back in training, and Luke Shaw's set to be back soon. Baindy hasn't been given a chance. Hidden gem. Baindy has had one or 2 good games recently, but his other chances before that he was not convincing. We finished in the last in the CL group because of Onana. Yeah, I don't think Onana's bad, but I don't think you can trust him to win trophies because he has a mistake in him. He makes howlers and silly errors. Believe David De Gea cost less than 20 million quid and arguably top 5 goalkeepers we've ever had at the club. Proper scouting and finding a gem, and maybe we'll look at Joan Garcia and bring in a gem. But I do think, in regards to new keeper, it probably is a 2026 signing. I think that's when it'll happen. De Ligt's still young for centre back. Is De Ligt 25 or 26? De Ligt's still 25 years old. Like De Ligt's still got like 7 years in him. So yeah, it's actually crazy to think that De Ligt's about to enter his prime. 26 to 29, I think, is your prime. So yeah, I think, do you know what I like about this summer? And I was talking about this in my video last night. Is I was looking at this summer signings and I thought, we've got De Ligt in that's proper experience, and we needed a proper experienced player. We've got Euro in for the future, but because we've got an experienced player in De Ligt, we've got 2 good centre-backs in there, one for the future, one that's experienced. You know, Ugarte is sort of proven but young and going to improve and knows the system. Xerxes 23, which is a good age. And Mazraoui is older. And I liked the fact that we didn't sign anyone old, but we signed 2 people, Mazraoui and De Ligt, in their prime. 1 person that is a prospect in Euro, and 2 people that are good and are going to improve even more because they're young. And I think that's the perfect mix. You know, I don't want Manchester United going and signing Delap, Dibling, Chris Rigg and Kenda and all these teenagers. I want United signing a mix. I want United going, well, Cunha's experienced in his prime, we'll get him. Yoko's experienced in his prime, we'll get him. Hayden Hackney's 21. He's proven in the Championship he's good. He's going to get better. So he's sort of, proven that he's going to improve. And then you maybe do go and sign like an 18-year-old prospect. I like a mixture of having 1 really good gem, 2 good young players that are going to improve and 2 players in their prime. I think that's a good mix. I think if we went and just signed Chris Rigg and like Kenda, obviously we can't sign him now, and Delap and all these players like Dibling that were like 18 and fresh, or I know Delap's a bit older, it would be difficult. Whereas I think if you can get a couple young, fresh players, but you also need a mix of experienced players, I think De Ligt and Mazraoui bring that bit of experience that I think we need, and I think we need more of that. Are we getting Ederson? We have been linked to Ederson of Atalanta, but as of now, I don't think there's much in the Ederson to Manchester United rumours, but we have been linked to him. Deep line playmaker isn't important. Deep line playmaker is more important, sorry. Arjun, just Harry, CDM at Club Brugge, perfect cheap option. I have to do some research on him because I am not familiar with him. Swiss footballer at Belgium Club Bruges. I'll have to do a bit of research on him because I've heard that name once before, but I don't know much about him. So I'll do some research on him if we get linked to him as well. We need an elite goalkeeper and an Onana, just is not that. Those constant mistakes kill momentum, I agree. I think we can do with Onana next season. He's not the priority to get rid of, but I do think eventually we might want to better keeper. Oh, interesting comment here from Royal. Crap. Any news on Heaven? We need him so bad he's actually good. Do you know what frustrates me? It's that Aiden Heaven was finally getting his chance to breakthrough. It was unbelievable when he's got injured. As of now, there's not much news on Heaven. It was said by Manuel Ugarte that he's a very strong guy. Let's hope the injury isn't too bad. Amarin said because Heaven is young, he wasn't able to really explain what it was when he went down injured. So they have to do a few more tests. But hopefully this week we'll have an idea. The good thing was he wasn't on crutches, which is a positive sign. Yeah. But I'm having a look, and we haven't got any updates on Heaven yet. We just got Ugarte saying he's strong and he's doing well, and they're hoping it's nothing serious. So, yeah, as of now, we don't know much on Aiden Heaven. But hopefully he's not injured, because I thought Aiden Heaven stepped up and done fantastic lately, hasn't he? He's really impressed me. Alex says Heaven was looking great. His attributes really improved the system. 100% left footer, good on the ball, natural wide defender. I thought on and off the ball, he was absolutely unbelievable. He was looking mint, and he was absolutely fantastic in these last few games for United. You know, the start versus Sociedad, the first half he was man of the match in that Leicester game. So I'm fingers crossed it's one of those where he's out for a few weeks and it's just more painful than he thought it was. Alice, I don't know why you keep freezing and pausing. I don't know if it's just me feeling else is it. I don't know. Sorry if I'm freezing or pausing. Normad Joe says, still think we sign a keeper, just won't be a big transfer fee. Maybe. I think we'll sign a Tom Heaton replacement. I think we'll sign an English keeper to come in to tick the English boxes, the amount of English players we need. That will come in for like £1 million to replace Heaton. I think we'll get one of those. Yeah. Results of Heaven scan tomorrow, is it? Okay, well, fingers crossed for Heaven. Yeah, Aiden Heaven is looking good, isn't he? So let's continue on into the next story. So Christian Eriksen is expected to leave Manchester United and is speaking out about his future. Eriksen on his future. I haven't thought about it yet. It's last time my contract expires this summer. So in my head, I'm ready to find something new, but I haven't decided what that will be yet. So Eriksen knows he's leaving Manchester United. He knows his contract's not going to be renewed. Amarin said that, Man United said that. He's just saying he's not quite thinking about that. It's like last time, my contract expires this summer, so in my head, I'm ready to find something new. So Eriksen himself has basically said, I'm leaving Man United in the summer, I'm ready to find something new, but I'm not thinking about it yet. He knows his contract's not going to be renewed. He knows that he's open to something new. He'll probably let his agent go out there, do the work, find something new, but he's not thinking too much on it as well. Streamers 4K, 100% summer vibes. Love that. I'll tell you what, the sun is out today. But it's still cold. What would be your ideal summer, sell and buy? Sell, obviously you've got Heaton, Eriksen, Evans and Lindelof that will go on a free. I'd sell Casemiro and I'd bring in, if possible, Angelo Stiller. I would then bring in Schlotterbeck as a left centre-back. I'd then look at bringing in a good right wing back like Frimpong. I would then bring in Cunha at left 10, and I would then bring in Gyökeres at striker. In terms of selling, it would be Casemiro, Antony, Rashford, Malacia, Shaw if possible. And then the players that are going on a free. Maybe maybe Garnacho for the right price if Amrin doesn't see him as a fit for the system. With the young players like Garnacho, it just depends on what Amrin sees. But I think Garnacho still has got so much more room to improve and learn. I think he can still be a good player, and I think he's looked better on the right, and he brings energy. But I wouldn't be shocked if Garnacho went. I wouldn't be shocked if Diallo went. If a good bid came in for Diallo, I would probably consider it. Even though I do think Diallo's a really good player because he doesn't suit Amrin's system. So if a good bid came in for Diallo, I think I'd consider it. Heaven's maturity and composure impressive for his age. Axel was also like that, but broke. But when he broke in, but injuries killed his career. Yeah, that's the problem. Injuries. Aiden Heaven, I think Tuanzebe was fantastic. I remember that PSG game, but injuries have made it difficult for him. Aaron's first choice will be Inacio. We have been linked to Inacio last summer, so there's definitely one to watch. I don't think we'll go back in for Branthwaite. I know we like Branthwaite, but I think we'll want someone a bit more mobile. So I think we will be looking at Inacio, Schlotterbeck, Luke. I think we'll try to go for Luca Bar, but I think we'll be priced out of that. I think Hoyston's definitely one we'll watch, but I don't think Hoyston will go to us because every top club wants him. But we just got to hope with Heaven it's nothing too serious. Mainoo, Diallo, Rashford, Sancho near 200 million there to pick up in the summer. I think Mainoo will stay. I think Garnacho is more likely to go than Mainoo, but it is near 200 million. They could go and raise in some funds. For me, Schlotterbeck is the best left centre back. People talk about Boskagli. People also talk about Stoney, but good players. But for me, Schlotterbeck. And I've only really watched Dortmund in the Champions League, so maybe he's rubbish in the Bundesliga, for whoever I know. Schlotterbeck, every time I've watched him play, I thought baller. I thought absolute baller every time I watched Schlotterbeck play. What's the priority? Established 9. Alex has just said it there. Established 9 is the priority. It's been revealed by Laurie Whitwell and reliable sources. That's the priority. Does not feel like Mainoo plays for us anymore. That's because he's out injured. And he's had a lot of injury issues this season. Sean says he thinks Amadou will be right wing back and they will use Mantato as backup, so I wouldn't be surprised if they sell Diallo. You've also got Mazraoui there as well. I think the only way Man United keep Diallo is one, they get no offers in, or two, they think he's always available, and availability is something that Diallo brings that a lot of players don't. Because Diallo is definitely a good player. There's no getting, there's nothing wrong with that. Diallo is a good player, but he's not been good for us recently because he's not a left wing back. Diallo in a back four is a good player. He's technically good. He's physically good. And I think United will just look at it and think, well, he's a good player. It'll be a good signing for a lot of sides. He doesn't suit the system, but there's a player right now that we can still get a good 30-odd million for, and he's not in the long-term plan. So I wouldn't be shocked if they looked at selling Diallo. Someone said, please sell Maguire. The reason we're not selling Maguire is because Evans and Lindelof are leaving on a free and Leach is out injured till December. So it's not the time to sell Maguire. Had that not happened and we had another good centre-back in, we probably would look at selling Maguire. But we renewed his contract because we're losing 2 centre-backs in the summer and Leach is injured to December. We don't know how long Heaven's out for. Yoro's had injury issues. De Ligt was quite injury-prone before joining Man United, but he's luckily stayed fit. Man United need to sign 1. You could argue 2 centre-backs this summer. So that's why Maguire's not going anywhere. I think we'll sign 1 centre-back this summer. Maguire leaves in summer 2026. I think we'll sign another centre-back in summer 2026. We just have to know when to cash in. Time to sell Diallo. Solid, but can do better elsewhere. I agree. I think Diallo is one of those players that this is the time to cash in. While he's still good, while he's still got value, while he can... Because I feel like if we keep Diallo and we play him wing-back next season and he's poor again next season because he doesn't suit the wing-back role... Next summer, the value of Diallo will plummet, and I think while you can still get good money for Diallo, I think sell him, and then we can use that money to bring in Frimpong that does suit the system. Because Diallo's a good player, he's a good player, and the teams don't pay good money for him. He just doesn't suit the system, and I think rather than keeping with players that don't suit the system, so then they have 2 poor seasons in a row, and then all of a sudden everyone assumes they're crap and no one wants to spend any money on them. While Diallo this time last year was our player of the season and has proven he's a solid player and still has value, I would look at selling Diallo. Do you think Maguire will retire at United? No, I think he'll have one more move after United as well. But we won't sell Maguire because of the lack of options at centre-back. Leach you can't rely on because he's of injuries. Yeah, Leach is injury prone. De Ligt apparently has histories with injuries, but we've been lucky this season. Yoro's had a few injuries. We've lost Evans, we've lost Lindelof. We can't get rid of Maguire this summer. Like that's the truth in it. I've got 1 or 2 more stories I do want to dive into, guys. But look, Maguire's been solid. Diallo's a good right back. Yeah, he is. I don't know about Diallo at right centre back. We've not tried it. So we've got updates on Rasmus Hojlund. According to sources in Italy, Napoli reportedly eyeing a potential deal with Manchester United for Rasmus Hojlund as they look to strengthen their squad depth to find a replacement for Victor Osimhen ahead of next season's Champions League. Now, I have a feeling Hojlund will be at United next season. And the only way I think United sell Hojlund is if they get like 50 million, because you think 50 million for Hojlund, you make a bit of a loss, but as long as we make over 38 million pounds for Hojlund in the summer, we don't make a loss on terms of FFP. I think if a bid came in of 40 to 50 million for Rasmus Hojlund, United maybe consider it. And there is interest in Hojlund from clubs in Italy. So I think it's one to watch. But I think Hojlund will be second striker. I think we'll bring in an experienced striker and keep Hojlund around as second striker, or he goes out on loan. I think United still believe deep down there's a player in Hojlund, and I think they're reluctant to sell him. But we know that Manchester United's priority is bringing in a new striker. Hojlund's not ready to lead the line. It could be one to watch, using Hojlund and deal for Osimhen. It could be one to watch for sure. I think Hojlund would do well in Italy. I think he would. If the price is right, Delo's sale's a no-brainer. Can get better, but in fairness, he's a great utility player. He is a great utility player, but I don't think he's ever going to be the starting right wing back. We've made a mistake again and again not cashing him when we should. I agree. Some people say we should even cash in on Garnacho while we can, because he's not the best fit for Amorim's system. But I do like Garnacho recently since he's moved to the right. I think Garnacho's frustrating, but I still think there could be a top player in Garnacho. And I think my worry with selling Garnacho is we sell Garnacho, something happens to Amorim, we get a manager that plays a 4-3-3, and then we see Garnacho balling out like in Spain, and we're thinking, oh, it'd been perfect. That's my worry with Garnacho. But I think Garnacho's got room to improve, and I think we'll make a decision on Garnacho in the summer, but I think he could go. I've got one last story here, which is that Manchester United are among a long list of clubs eyeing up the potential transfer of Dibling. Now, Dibling, I think, with Southampton set to be relegated, could be available for about £30 million. Dibling can play 10. Dibling can play right wing back. I'm open to Tyler Dibling, but as long as we don't sign loads of 18-year-olds. I'm open to Tyler Dibling if we also get Cunha and Gyökeres. Do you know what I mean? I don't want us doing Dibling, Chris Rigg, Delap, and loads of young players. We need a mix of young players. And I'm open to Dibling as an 18-year-old. I'm open to someone like Hackney. He's a bit more experienced in midfield. And then Schlotterbeck, Cunha, and Gyökeres is the other signings. So you've got 3 good experienced signings, one with potential, one that's up and coming. I like Tyler Dibling, and I think with Southampton being relegated, he could be available for the right price. I think, he needs time, but he's got a bit of DNA in him. He looks good. He looks exciting. I'm definitely open to Tyler Dibling. Anyway, people, that is your Manchester United news roundup. I'm just going to make sure no stories have come out just now before I round up the news. No breaking news has come out yet. Obviously, it is international break, so news could be slow. But I wanted to do a 30-minute live show just discussing the news with you guys, getting your opinions, getting your thoughts in down below. A lot of you seem to like Dibling. I do like Dibling as long as it's the right price. But if we sign Dibling, I want everybody else that we sign to be older and more experienced. We can't keep signing young players and do a Chelsea. Suleiman is definitely a baller. Do I think Sancho will return? As of now, no. But I think it depends what happens at the end of the season. I think we'll have an indication in May. But yeah, listen, people, thank you for watching today's show. See you next time. Bye.